Hey everyone, I'm Christine Kidder Graves. I'm an executive career coach helping you have work that works for you. And I'm really excited to be talking about today's topic. This is going to be super short training, no more than 20 minutes. I did start a little late, but I will be sure to give you the full 20 minutes. And please give us your comments with any questions that you might have. For those who said that they were going to be watching this, we did ask you for your questions, but you can feel free to put any additional questions in the comments. And today I'm talking about how to go from cloudy to clear regarding your brand. So it's really important because I do like new connection calls every day. I call them my career clarity call. And it's my call to have with a connection that we haven't done the call with yet. So that way I can get to know them, they can get to know me. And I also give them an audit of their LinkedIn profile so I can give them feedback on it. And I'm also talking with them about what do they want in their career because I want to know. I'm just curious. And often people are telling me that they don't have clarity. They don't know what they want to do when they grow up. Do you know what you want to do when you grow up? And it's always evolving and changing. At least it's been that way for me, and I know it's for others. So I'm going to get right to it because I have a lot of good information that I want to share with you in this next 20 minutes. So let's get right to it. So, and the whole reason of why this is important, why do you need to have clarity in your brand? For so many reasons. To me, it's obvious. You want to be easily found by people on this platform. That is so important. And it doesn't matter if you are in job search mode or you're not, because think about the things that you want to do, the things that you want to get done. You may be really happy in your current role, but what if there's an opportunity that you would love to find out, that you would love to know about, that would really stretch you, that would give you more experience, new experience, definitely more compensation, those things that you're open to in the future. It happens through connection, being connected to people. But if people can't find you on LinkedIn, then it's going to be a lot harder to make it happen. And you want to make sure that your LinkedIn profile is working for you so you are easily found for the things you want to be found regarding. Okay. So that's important. It's really important. And your LinkedIn profile should be working for you. It should be working very well. People should be reaching out to you regarding the opportunities, the things that you want to be contacted about. So that's key. That's the main thing that we're focusing on is how, but you need to have the clarity. If you're not clear on your brand, then you're going to be kind of dead in the water to start with. So I'm going to go right ahead and just jump into my top 3 tips to help you have better brand clarity. Okay. The first thing to really start with, and I see these as a pillar of your brand, is your strengths. What are your strengths? I want you to identify your strengths. So right now, just jot down on a piece of paper, what are your top 5 strengths? What are they? Just list them off. And if you have trouble listing them off, then right away, that's a sign that you need to spend more time thinking about this and diving into this. Okay. So give me your top 5 strengths. It's how quickly can you answer that question? That's something that you need to note and observe. Okay. It's kind of like your elevator pitch when someone just asks you, if you're stumbling for words, you don't know what to say, you're gee, let me get back to you. You definitely need clarity on that. So what are your top 5 strengths? If you find you're one of those people where you're I'm at a loss, I don't know what to say about this, then a good tool that I use in my work with my clients to help them is the Clifton Strengths Finder. It's one of those many assessments that's out there. I have experience, in using it from my HR background. I like it because I feel that it's simple for people to use. And we need to focus on our strengths. That's really important. So you could take that, and especially if you haven't done an assessment in a while, it'll be a data point that you will have now. So I encourage you to take that. I'm not affiliated with Clifton Strengths Finder in any way. I probably should be if I had an affiliate link, that would be great, but I don't. But you can Google that, and to get the assessment, I think the cost is about $60 right now, and you get good reports that will give you good meaty information about your strengths. So that's the number one thing is to identify your strengths. And again, take note of how quickly you're able to identify your strengths. Number two is to develop your stories around your strengths. Story is so powerful. I know you marketers out there, you get it. You know that story is important because stories make us sticky. That's how we really convey things to people is through our stories. And that's how we're memorable. And we do the same thing when we're in the interview process to stand out from other candidates in our LinkedIn profile, in our resume. So we want to always be using that. But take the strengths that you provided, your 5 strengths. What are your stories around those strengths? So you can really illustrate, show someone how you are strategic. That's a good thing. And I do have a tool for you. I will put it in the comments after I'm done with this LinkedIn Live, so you'll have it. But it is my Star Stories worksheet. It's a fillable PDF, and you can use that. And STAR is the framework that I recommend my clients use, and I recommend you use it in framing up your strengths. It's very simple to follow. I'm not going to go into for detail right now, but I'll put the link for you to get my Star Stories template. It is on my website, but I'll put it in there, and that way you can get a free worksheet, and you can do that. And you need to do one worksheet for each one of your strengths. So again, we started with number 1 this is the tips, my top tips for brand clarity. Identify your strengths quickly because you need to know them quickly. Then number 2, develop your stories around your strengths so they are sticky and so you are memorable. So you're getting like maximum mileage out of your strengths because they are part of your brand. And then the third tip is to ask others. Ask others and you can make this exercise really, really simple. Okay. You know that saying and how we are like most like the 5 people that we spend the most time with. It's kind of taking that to the next level. Okay. So you should know the 5 people that you spend the most time with, and it'll most likely be a blend of family with a few work people. Maybe it just depends. But take 5 people, and I think it's good too to have the people from family and friends because you get that perspective. But start with them. Start with the 5 people that you spend the most time with in life, and ask them for 5 adjectives that they would use to describe you. So that way you get their perspective. And then the next level you can take it to is really thinking about who that you work with, who do you want to get their input from as well. Okay. Again, you marketers, you know how important it is for us to do market research, get information from our target customer, but you want to find out from the people that know you, how would they describe you? Because that will give you clarity on your brand. So that's really important. I'm just keeping an eye on the time because I want to make sure that I cover everything that I want to in here with you. Okay. So the next thing is that I was covering on this LinkedIn Live with you is getting clear on how do you get clear on that next ideal role for you? So you've done the work you followed my 3 tips to get brand clarity. Okay. You've identified your strengths. you've developed your stories around your strengths, and you've also asked others. So that way you get like a fuller picture of what your brand is. So you're clear on it. Now, how do you want to take your brand and how do you want to use it? That's really what the next ideal role is for you. That's how you want to take your skills and talents in your brand. How do you want to use it? So reflect. I have a question for you. I want you to really reflect on what you are good at and what you enjoy. So it needs to be both of those things. What are you good at and what do you enjoy? Okay. Everyone needs this in their job. Okay. Now, are you going to have a job where every single thing that you do, you're good at and you love? No, let's all be real. All right. But you do need to have some key components in that next job that you are really good at doing and you love doing. Okay. Um, Now, granted, this could be a position too that you feel is more of a stretch, but the things that you are good at and that you love doing, they're kind of like their foundation again. Okay. So you need to have some clarity on that. What are the things that you are good at and what do you enjoy? Okay. That's the first question to ask yourself. Questions are an excellent tool. They just help us so much. And I use questions all the time in coaching my clients too, to really get them thinking, because sometimes we can get so stuck where we're at. But I want you to not be stuck and to really contemplate these new questions. How do you want to stretch yourself? We know that growth doesn't happen inside the comfort zone. It's great. It feels good to be comfortable, but then it doesn't because we're not doing anything new and we're actually getting worse. We're decaying. When we're not growing, we're decaying. We're just stagnant. So, and if you don't choose how you want to stretch yourself, you're not going to grow, you're not going to change, you're not going to be better than yesterday. And someone else may make the decision for you. It may be more by default and not design. So, how do you want how do you want to stretch yourself? How do you want to be better than yesterday? That's really key. That's important. So, so that's a key question. And then from contemplating those two main questions, I want you to think about what types of roles would you be interested in, the titles. And you might be like, well, Christine, how can I find those? Go to Google, our friend Google, and you could also use ChatGPT. You could just play around with it, use it as a tool, and ask it questions. Say, well, I like doing this. I like doing this. I don't like doing this. What types of positions should I consider? And just see what it comes up with. You can also go on Indeed or definitely LinkedIn, but Indeed is more like a vertical search engine that grabs things from all these places. So that might be the best just to enter some keywords and see what comes up for you. But if you can try to take the answers to those questions that I want you to use and really try to find a couple of job descriptions, 2 to 3. If there's just one, that's fine. But find a job description that you feel captures what you want for that next ideal role. Okay. So you can do that. I would recommend you do that. And then once you have those job descriptions that represent your next ideal role, then you can use ChatGPT again as a tool. You can run those job descriptions through ChatGPT and have it tell you what the keywords are. Give me the top 10 to 20 keywords for this job description. And then you should also do that for your updated resume, and for your LinkedIn profile, just so you know what the main keywords are in those two things for you. And then compare them side by side. Here's my ideal role and the keywords from this. This is what I'm targeting. And here are the keywords from my resume and from my LinkedIn profile. How similar are these? You know, if they're not very similar, then you have to look and see, the keywords for that ideal role that you're going after. Do you have any of this in your experience? Can you, because again, we always have to be truthful in our resume and our LinkedIn profile, you know, would it be accurate? Would it make sense for me to add these keywords? And if so, where can I put them in my resume and my LinkedIn profile to provide more information, to reflect more of my brand in that? So that's what I would recommend for that. Um, okay. And then my last thing that I was going to touch upon is what your LinkedIn profile needs to say. So, and I'm going to give you a specific example. Um, I really want you to lead with your differentiators. That's so key because that's the thing that makes your brand really shine, I think. There's a lot of people that are in the job market right now, and whatever you can do to stand out is really important. And even again, if you're not in transition, you still want to stand out. It's important. You want to be seen for you, and your differentiators make you you. So, and we need to pull them out. And if you're interviewing, you need to pull them out, put them front and center. Recruiters, CEOs, hiring managers, decision makers, we do not have the time to interview you and have to pull out the information. Okay. It needs to be front and center in your LinkedIn profile. And specifically, I would like you to put it in your headline, because your headline in your LinkedIn profile, number one, it's one of the searchable fields along with the about section and the experience section. View your headline as the summary of your brand in 2 to 3 sentences or keywords. So it's the summary of your brand, and it's searchable. So you got to lead with it. You've got to lead with your differentiator. So, quick example, I was talking with a new connection earlier this week, and she's in transition, and her job search is going longer than it should be going. And she was telling me about herself, and she's like, "Yeah, and I have CPG experience. I'm not sure why I'm having such a hard time. And I also have agriculture experience." And I'm like, "Wait a second. Wait a second. You're telling me you have both CPG and you have agriculture experience. Why isn't that in your headline? You are not leading with that. That is not in your headline. The CPG was there, but the agriculture was not." And so you need to take your combination, think of those magical combinations that you have, because those combinations of awesome skills or awesome industry experience, whatever it is, that will make you stand out, because you have combinations that other people, thousands of people, don't have. So very few people have both CPG and agriculture. So I want you to think about, where can you really highlight your combinations of skills that you have, so you can stand out from other people, because that will really help you a lot. But it's got to be, you have to lead with that. And when I say lead with it, I'm talking about your LinkedIn headline that's at the very, very top of your profile. And really, that's the most important part, because if you don't grab people right then and there at the top, they're not going to scroll down. They're not going to read your profile. They're going to go on to the next person. So that's why you've got to grab them right at the very beginning. So, again, to summarize, for brand clarity, to really increase your brand clarity, identify your strengths, develop your stories around your strengths to be sticky, and then ask others for what they see as your strengths. And just to keep it simple, ask them for five adjectives that they feel describe you. Okay, just keep it simple for them. Okay. And then for getting clarity on the next ideal role for you, reflect on those two questions. What are you good at and what do you enjoy? And then how do you want to stretch yourself? Find a ideal, like a job posting that you feel represents your next ideal role, and use the tools of chat gpt, and look at that ideal role and your resume and your LinkedIn profile. And then the last thing is your LinkedIn profile. What does it need to say? Well, your headline specifically needs to lead with your differentiator. That is key. So tools for you. I'm going to put my Star Stories worksheet, the link in the comments, so you can use that to help you. I'll also put the link. I think we should be able to put the link for the Clifton Strengths Finder assessment, so you can easily access that. So those two links we'll put in the comments. And then I want to encourage you, if we are connections, well, if we're not connections, let's connect, because that way you can access my network. And then when we need to do a connection call, because we are connections, and that way we can get more out of being connected. And when we do that, I'll give you an audit of your LinkedIn profile. I'll give you my candidate assessment, because I want to help you. I want you to have a better LinkedIn profile. So definitely do that. And then, yeah, and have a great rest of your day. Thank you for watching. I went a little bit long already, so I'm going to end it now. So thank you, everybody. Take care. Bye now.